they develop the structure. So with some friends that they were also in the technician part, they help us, but it was personal, always persons, not institutions, not organizations.
We have this field of making our own publications and creating our own media. We have a study, a collective study activity as well. We meet every week to study, to read books, to discuss what's going on around right now. And we have the perspective of using this to action, bringing this knowledge and this information that we want to spread inside the movements.
Try to actually make more people in schools and as young as possible to address diversity, and especially not going to schools like for me to go, but actually to try to give tools to the people in the school, especially the students, to do it by themselves from really the beginning.
We didn't have too much money, we didn't spend too much money. Actually, we have to say that the banks, they don't give you really too much money right now for get any project, so that it wasn't an option. So what we could do it ourselves. So with the help of friends, family, reading a lot of books, reading blogs, YouTube videos, because everything is important, we developed for Roll 360 everything. Logo, design, the structure, the sections, we did all by ourselves. So that it was difficult because we are journalists. We don't know about informatics, we don't know about the design, and we have to learn and we have to ask for a lot of favors. We have to say that we have really help from the outside, we can say.
Money, it's a challenge, it's a problem. But money can be surpassed with help and with work. So that challenge was surpassed easily enough, doing the right moves, don't spend money on things you don't need really, see what are your needs, how can you cover them without money, and friends is mostly what can cover them.
For me, for many years it was like just a thought and how I'm going to work it out. But from some point and then a friend of mine helped me and I started with some products and it came bigger and bigger and bigger. And it is like it is now.
The biggest challenges that we had to face were getting in touch with all the promotion of a group. We had never done anything like that. We didn't know actually how to do it. It was completely new for us. So getting the opportunity to play in some bars or in some locals, it was just going to the owners, going there with our little demo with 4 songs and just ask them if they want it. So you also have to play it a little bit like, yeah, we have other offers or whatever, so you had to play it a little bit cool so they will be a little bit more interested. But also you had to say that when we went to Tarifa, to the south of Spain, it was also difficult the time, the 3 of us traveling like for 1 week in a van and having to face all the setting up everything, taking everything to the van again, trying to find, I don't know, it was like 24 hours together. So the living together with these people, even though you really like them or appreciate them, it's sometimes it's hard, but we managed it anyway. So, but yeah.
If it's the first time you do something on your own, for yourself, with colleagues, with people you are not related by blood, but you are related by passions and ideas, what happens to you first is that you find yourself like a newborn. You don't know anything. It's not something I've done before. I've never collaborated with others and have the whole everything depending on us. Know somebody that can tell us what to do, when to do it, how to do it. So I actually started understanding what it means to collaborate, and I'm still learning it because it's something that I was not used to do, because it's different to collaborate on a project and different to collaborate on something that is your day, your life. 24 hours you think about something and you cannot think alone. But it's a process that gives you a lot of energy, mostly because when you lose something, you know somebody else from the group will have it for you. When you lose your passion, you lose your power, you lose your energy, you lose whatever happens to you, it will be given to you again from the group. And mostly understood why it's good to work all together.
This work that we do to try to change the world, it works in both ways. We can either work collectively, and that's how I've been doing, and also individually. So just for me to live my life and the people that are around me, and for me to talk to them about my life and who I am without hiding my identity, I think that's also making some changes, big changes around me.
I answered some questions that I had. I answered some questions of how to do, how I think things can go forward, and how we can eventually change some stuff, which is organizing. I understood that, for example, it's important to link movements not only on the regional level, but also international, on international level, because we are facing a global problem. I understood that I need to understand how society works if I want to change it. So I'm also part of a group that is worried with studying how things work and the history of the movement.
It's a fight the whole time, it's a struggle, but in the end there is a satisfaction. But the satisfaction is like this: you cannot have satisfaction without struggling before.
We put a lot of physical work into rebuilding the place, and as I always say, a lot of physical work was during 6 months during the day, and during the night a lot of creative thinking and building the whole strategy and then whole startup. Now after 1 year, more than 500 persons came from more than 20 countries, and a few startups were born here, and a lot of really creative people, entrepreneur minds came, visited us, and keep coming back.
This experience completely changed my life because I've been playing guitar for 9 years, more or less, and I guess that for every artist there is some point that, mostly when you play some instrument, there is a point, at least in my case, that you really feel the necessity of creating your own stuff and to express yourself somehow, not just playing covers. That's cool, I mean, you have fun, but in my case I needed to say something more. So when I had this opportunity to create my own stuff and go to a concert and show people what I did and see also that they liked it, that was a really, I mean, a point in my life that changed my perspective, and it's like, okay, maybe I can even try to make a living out of this. Maybe not with this group, maybe not with other, but at least creating music and really going for that.
I must admit, it never liked me the idea of being my own boss. I know too many people like it, but not me, because when you are your own boss, you have a lot of problems in your mind. You cannot just close the door when you are leaving your job, and that's it. And if something happens, it's not your problem. But when you are your own boss, when you try to develop a project, you try to get money, you try to everything get fine, that means a lot of problems. That means a lot of things in your head. So I didn't like it, but I must admit that with the time I start a few months ago, or maybe 1 year ago, to start to love it, because you have the power. You decide what you are going to do, what you are not going to do. Let's say, if you are working in a TV or on a newspaper, you are just an employee, they are going to say you have to do this topic, you have to go to this conference of press, you have to do this stuff. But when you are your own boss, you decide, you have the power, what is going to be in the homepage of your newspaper.
It's difficult and really fancy and a really happy thing, being your own boss and have your own business, because you set up your own program. Also, when you want to have some time out of this, most of the days you can do this. And you can have all the inspiration you want, so as to work it in the best way you can.
If somebody is thinking about doing something on his own, her own, absolutely do it. Be sure that is much more work than he or she thinks. It has much more problems that he or he thinks, she or he thinks, but everything you can overcome, everything you can surpass. And to do so you need persistence. That's the only thing you need is persistence. We tried a lot of things in this process, that some of them went well, some not. And among all of our passions, slowly we understood which of them we could apply and live from them and live for them in the same moment, so that this would not be a job but would be a way of living and make a living.
Today we have our communities with a lot of problems. So basically someone who wants to solve a problem from at own community can build a product which solves the problem. That product can give enough money for this person, but at the same time you can help a lot of people just by providing solutions, digital ones or not digital ones, doesn't matter. So the most important part is like think on something that you like, then make a product from it, product which solves some kind of problem, and try to sell it.
For somebody that would like to be his own boss and to make his own stuff and work with it, I would advise just to believe in yourself, and everything will grow. Maybe slowly, maybe in a faster way, but it will work out, because if you truly believe in something and you love it, I think there is no way that it won't work.
You must love your job. If you don't love it, you are going to be tired, because, believe me, it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take you a lot of hours. So if you don't love it, you are not going to get it probably. So first of all, be passionate about your job. Choose something that really makes you happy, that it's kind of a hobby, we can say. Because if it's something like a hobby, when you are doing something that you really like, time passed.
If you really have a dream, you really want to create something, you really want to do something that makes you happy, and it's something maybe new, but it comes from your inside, you should go for it, and don't really get disappointed at the beginning if something doesn't work, if you find some barriers in the way, because as I said before, I had some other groups before and they didn't work at all, and it wasn't the people, maybe it was just not the right time, not the right style, not the right moment. So at some point you will, I think that always, eventually, you will find a moment, the place, the people to go for it, and you will notice and feel the signs around. It's like, okay, so maybe this is it. And so I would say, like, just keep in mind what you want and never give up. Just go for it.
Encourage anyone just to start experimenting and on the things they like, and this is if you do what you like, then it stops being a job.
If you think that making another word is saying only about this and not acting about this. It's a problem. So you are the same with a lot of other people that in a way struggles the real to come up.
Do not become kind of cynical intellectual that wants to think about reality but doesn't really believe it can change. So I'm part of a group that believes it can change.
I will keep putting my energy and I'll keep putting my time and my knowledge into things that I believe in and into things that I think can make, even if it's just a tiny difference in other people's lives or in changing the world. Then.
You find satisfaction in a small part. This is what keeps you go and go and go.
I think the work that we're doing with the association, somehow it helps, and I know for sure that after like a session in a school, we have some people that actually change their minds, and for me that's really rewarding to know that that happened.
I still want to change the world, but maybe I'm not so, how can I say, maybe I would be happy if I just change something else which is smaller, because now I know that if all of us do something smaller, maybe the world will change. So if we're crazy enough to believe that we can change the world, we're actually the ones that will change the world.
I've known a man, just a simple kind one. I've known a love, just as big as the sky. Inside my lake I float and dream. Inside his eyes become myself. Would you live inside? Would you look and smile? When you found pain and darkness, would you live inside? Would you look and smile? When you found pain and darkness, I've known a man, just a simple kind one. I've known a love, just as big as the sky. Inside my lake